Hi there guys, welcome to another Ross Perry Productions video. In this video I have a 2018 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross and I'm going to be showing you where each of the fluid top-up locations are in the car. And this will include your engine oil, your brake fluid, your coolant and your washer fluid. And I'll also point out where the dipstick is for your transmission fluid. So as you can see, I've already started to pop the bonnet. If you don't know how to do that, just go into the driver's side and pull this lever here. And then we're going to go up to the front of the car, put our hand in just above the Mitsubishi badge and push the lever to the left. That's the lever there. And then we're going to go ahead and put this bonnet stay in that hole there. With the bonnet now safe and secure, we can have a good look around the engine bay, and I'll start you off over the right hand side. So this is actually our air box where our air filter is. We've got our main engine bay fuse box here. This is the induction system for the air box, and then underneath that is actually our battery for the car. Moving to the middle, we've actually got our main engine block there. So if you pull this plastic off, you'll actually be able to get to your coil packs and spark plug locations. I'll also make a video on that. So we're going to start off over the left hand side for the fluids, and we'll start off right at the back of the engine bay. So you'll just see this cap here. So this is actually our brake fluid reservoir, and you'll notice it says .4 on the lid, and that's the type of brake fluid you need to use. And you can just see the maximum fill line there as well. So one thing I'd say is always try to stick with the same brand of brake fluid if you've topped it up before, and also stick with the main brands like Castrol, because they're less likely to boil once they get hot and lose their viscosity. Moving down, we'll actually see this cap here, and this is our standard washer fluid reservoir. So it actually has a dipstick in there, but I wouldn't worry too much about that because there is a fill line on the side, and you can just go ahead and fill this right the way up to that. I'd always recommend you use the dilution or concentrate and read the bottles first rather than just using water. That will prolong the life of your windscreen wipers, and they'll also clean your windscreen a lot better as well. Next, I'll move you to the coolant system. So we've got a coolant expansion reservoir here, and we can actually get to the top of our radiator here. So one thing to mention is you shouldn't ever open either of these caps when the engine is hot. Obviously water expands under heat, and it could actually pressurize, blow out there and scald you, which we don't want to happen. If you do need to top up the system, wait until the engine is cold. And we can start here by filling that right the way up to the top. Make note of the color of your coolant. So it's color coded, so you get blue, green or pink. And make sure you always stick to the same color. It's nice and simple. So that one can go right the way up to the top, and you put the cap on, and then you move over to the expansion bottle there, and you'll see there's actually a low and full line there. This one's actually a little bit below the full line, so it probably could do with a top up, especially as the engine's hot. So that would actually be expanded. But again, you can just remove that once the engine's cold and top that up to that full position. I'd just like to point out the transmission fluid dipstick, which is down here. There's actually a process around checking that, which means starting the car, moving it through the gears, letting it rest, and then actually coming to check the level. Please read your owner's manual for that process. And lastly, I'll bring you over to the engine oil. So the engine oil actually has a dipstick at the back there and a fill point here. So what we do is we actually pull the dipstick out, we give it a good clean with a rag, and you'll notice there's actually two holes right down the bottom. Now the oil should be between those two holes, but I always like to have it closer to the top hole. So once you've cleaned it off, you'll pull it down, you leave it for a few seconds, and then you'll actually pull it up and then check the level. Make sure it's between those two dots. If it is low, then we're going to go ahead and actually top it up, and you do that by removing this cap here. I always like to use a funnel, or you can make something out of a Coke bottle as well, just to make sure you don't get oil everywhere. And you fill that up, and then you keep checking on your dipstick for the level. Make sure you check your owner's manual for the correct oil as well. And then making sure all of your caps are done up at the end. And there you go, that's all of the fluid top-up locations on a 2018 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. If you found that video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, check out some of my other videos and subscribe to my channel.